welcome. It's been a long time. It has been a long time. And I was really going to do videos, but I was like, I might as well just go live. There's no sense in doing videos. So then you can go back and watch the live. So, like I said in the previous video the other day, I said we were going to talk about identity. So, tonight we are going to talk about identity. And I know it's a little late. But I had to be alone. Y'all know school starting, so you got to go to all these little, what you call it, like open house or whatever, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. I have only one child in school now, or in high school. So he had to go to this open house tonight, and that was a lot. That was a lot. I don't know how high schoolers be doing it. Schools have become bigger, um, for whatever reason. They like the size of colleges at this point. So, but I'm your host, Demasha K, or Zipmouth, whichever one you're comfortable with. It just depends on who you are. And this series for 20 days is going to be about identity. And it's an identity series too, so that people can learn, who they are. Because a lot of the questions that I get from clients lately is like, they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know anything about their self personally, or what direction they should go in. And a lot of times we can't figure out the direction, or we can't figure out who we are because we don't know our true identity. So, identity is the foundation of you. It's the identity. Like your identity is the foundation of you, of who you are. It's not the confidence, it's not the success, it's not the money, it's not relationships. Identity. Identity is the foundation of everything in your life. Most people are they're trying to change their circumstances without changing the person creating the circumstances. And I know that sounds crazy, right? People are trying to change their circumstances without changing the person who's creating the circumstances. And so that's the place that we get stuck at. Because a lot of times we don't want to change, or we don't see the fact that we need to change. So that makes it a little bit hard. But most people are trying to change their circumstances without creating a different person. They're chasing new jobs, new relationships, new businesses, new opportunities, but they're carrying the same identity into every new season. So if you're carrying the same identity into every new season, that's going to make it hard for you to even see the opportunity in the new season. Today, I want to challenge you with one thought. Your life is not built on your goals. Your life is built on your identity. So, one saying I always say is quiet the noise and elevate the mind. And I say that because most of the time people are so focused on the noise that's happening in their life that they don't even see the opportunities. They don't even see that they need to change. So, when you quiet that noise, or when you tell yourself out loud, quiet the noise and elevate the mind, there begins a transition. Because then you realize, like, wait, there is a lot of noise going on in my head. There is a lot of noise going on in my space. What is identity? When I say identity, I'm not talking about your name. I'm not talking about your race. I'm not talking about your occupation. I'm talking about the story you tell yourself about who you are. And most of the times, it's a story that we're telling ourselves, like, I'm this kind of person, I'm this, I'm this. And people will say, I know myself. And I remember I was one of those people, because I used to be like, oh, I know myself, I know myself. Until situations started happening and I became more conscious about the decisions that I was making. And I was like, why did I make that decision? Why did I behave that way? Or why did I do this? So when I'm talking about identity, I'm talking about the story that you tell yourself. Identity is the internal answer to questions like, who am I? We were in a training, I think it was yesterday, and one of the questions that the trainer asked The trainer said, "Who are you?" And I thought it was significant because that's one of the questions, the very first questions that I ask my clients all the time. Is I give them an assignment, and the assignment is, "Who are you?" The problem is that many people answer this question using the same things like, "I'm divorced, I'm broke, I'm addicted, I have anxiety, I'm the black sheep of the family, I'm a failure." And if you notice something, most of the time people identify themselves negatively, unless they're telling me an answer they think I want to hear. So then they start saying things like, like, "I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm strong." And then I ask them, "Do you believe that?" And as soon as their eyes drop, I know they don't believe it. I know they don't believe it. Those aren't your identities, though. Those are experiences. You've been through divorce. You've been the black sheep. You may have failed at some things, even, or you may have felt you failed at some things. But experiences repeated long enough begin to sound like, "This is who I am." And it's the truth. If you go through something over and over again, you just feel like it's your life, it's who you are. Once that happens, your brain starts protecting that identity. Whether it's negative or positive, your brain starts to protect that identity. So if you feel negatively about yourself and you're always telling yourself negative stuff, now your brain is protecting the fact that these negative things are true. And once that happens, your brain starts to protect that identity, even if it's unhealthy. So sometimes it may be unhealthy. The things that you think about yourself may be unhealthy. A lot of times we have like goals. Goals do not change lives. And I know people want to argue about this with me, but they don't change lives because figuring out what your identity is what changes your life. So then you start to move in that space. We love setting goals like losing 50 pounds, making $10,000, start a business, write a book, save money. And I'm not saying that goals are bad. I'm just saying goals are not your identity. Goals are important, but goals don't transform people. They don't bring about change in you unless you change you first to meet the need of those goals. Learning your identity does change. Think about, let's say, New Year's resolution, right? Everybody makes like a New Year's resolution if you believe in New Year's. Everybody makes this new, millions of people set goals every January, but most people quit before February. And even if they make it to March or April or May, most people quit those New Year's resolutions before the year is over, the year is out. Why? Because their habits return to the identity they already believe. Your habits return to that identity that you already believe. Someone says, "I'm trying to quit smoking." Another person might say, "I don't smoke." Yes, those sound very similar. They're completely different identities. One is fighting temptation, the other one has decided who they are. And I know, like, for some, that's going to sound a little crazy, but it's the truth. One is fighting temptation, the other one has decided, "This is who I am. I'm not a smoker." Your identity is always looking for evidence. Your brain is always trying to prove itself right. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll notice every bad thing. And I have so many people that tell me this all the time. They always like, "Oh, bad things always happen to me." And I'm like, "Why are you saying that?" Because then you don't see opportunities. You only see the bad things. So then if they're around me and they feel like negative things always happen to them, I start pointing out all the positive things that happen, even if it's something as small as, I remember, one of my clients, we went to lunch one day. We went to lunch, we met, we would sit down and they were going through like all the motions of bad things happen to them. This happens, that happens, da da da. And so as we were sitting there, we're eating lunch, we got ready to pay the tab, and the waiter was like, "Oh, for whatever reason, someone paid the tab." I don't know why, but they did. That was a good thing. But when we left, the client didn't even realize that that happened because they were so honed in on something negative happening, something bad happening. And you'll notice, like I said, all those bad things. If you believe you're ugly, compliments won't matter. Have you ever been the person that's complimented or complimenting someone and they're kind of like, oh, yeah, thank you. Oh, I don't like attention. So you don't like people to tell you that you're handsome or you're beautiful. You have to ask yourself why. If you believe you're successful, failure becomes information instead of proof that you're worth it. Every time something doesn't go your way, you don't give up. You keep going. You keep moving. You keep deciding, like, hey, you know what? That didn't work out. I got to try another way. That didn't happen the way I thought it was. I got to do something different. That becomes your identity filters. You don't get stuck in one space believing like this is who I am and I'm never going to be able to change and I'm never going to have luck and I'm going to be divorced and I'll never get married again. And you don't believe things like that. That's why two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away completely different with a different conclusion. I'm a big person about perspective because everyone has a perspective, but generally your perspective is based off of things that you've been through. It's based off your traumas. It's based off the pain you experience and sometimes the good things that you experience. Identity becomes the lens through which you interpret life. And so that depends on you. Who are you when nobody's watching? And that's the space that we have to live in. Like, who am I when nobody's watching? And I can tell you about me, like, I'm extremely quiet. I'm 100% not an internet person, but I get on the internet because I want to help people. And a lot of times I have to force myself to get on the internet. And people like, they're like, oh, you're so natural at it. You're so good at it. And I'm thinking, like, oh, no, no, I don't want to do this for real. Like it's just not my thing to do. I'd rather sit in a quiet space, like reading a book, scrolling through my phone, learning something. I would rather do that. But I know that the information that I have, I would love to share it with other people. So who are you when nobody is watching? Here's the question I want everyone listening to sit with. Who are you when nobody's watching? Not when you're posting online, right? Just like I said, I'm extremely quiet. Not when you're dressing up, not when you're trying to impress people. Who are you in private? A lot of times people may think they know who you are in private, but I mean, the world should show you that, like we don't know. We don't know. So many things happen in the world and so many people do things that you wouldn't expect them to do. We don't know who people are in private. So we don't know who you are in private. Character is private. Discipline is private. Integrity is private. Success is public. Usually starts with a private decision, but it becomes public. Conversations you have with friends, with yourself matter. What do you call yourself? Lazy, broke, average, unworthy? Or do you call yourself growing, capable, resilient, learning? It's up to you. You get to decide. Rebuilding your identity, because that's what we're going to do through this 20-day series, is rebuild your identity. You don't rebuild your identity by pretending. Just be you. I teach my children, if you're loud, be loud. If you're talkative, be talkative. If you're funny and corny, whatever you are, just be it. Because the people that love you, it doesn't matter. It does not matter to them. Only thing, they just happy to be around you and they learn what kind of person you are. You rebuild your identity through repeated evidence, repeated evidence. If you want to become disciplined, keep your promises to yourself. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, the way I'm saying it, it sounds like it's an easy thing to do, but it's not. Altering your life and changing and becoming a new person, a better person is not easy. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's very hard because everything that you learn from a little child, from a baby, all the way up to up, if you're my age in your 40s, you have to unlearn all of that stuff. So then you have this battle within yourself. You have a battle within your mind because it's like, can I do this? Am I capable? Do I really want to grow? And sometimes it gets hard and you want to give up and you want to say, I just don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not good enough to do it. I'm not worthy enough to. This is not working. I hear that so many times, like all the time I hear people say that. But you have to keep those promises to yourself. If you want to become confident, don't do difficult things. One thing I tell people is success begot success, right? When you have successful people around you, you just like all of a sudden, if you want to be confident, start with the easy things. Start with the easy things and then celebrate your wins. Most of the time, we don't celebrate our wins. I mean, just like the small wins. If you do something like, okay, like I cleaned out my closet, I got a shopping problem. So when I do something like that, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, I cleaned it. I got rid of clothes. I took them to the shelter. I took them to here. I'm excited. And it may seem small to other people, but I'm really excited about it because I need to get rid of stuff. So do those small things and then start with the difficult things. If you want to become trustworthy, tell the truth. Tell the truth. A lot of times I hear people they have battles about being trustworthy, showing people that they changed and that they're trying to change and they're trying to be better and they're trying to do better. And they all like they have this one moment when they're just breaking down and they're like, nobody believes my change. Nobody sees that I'm trying to change or I'm trying to be different. Nobody cares. And that may be true because they're so used to you being one way that when you start transitioning to another way, it's going to seem strange to them. But remember, you're not changing your identity or creating your identity or getting better at your identity for anybody else. You're doing that for you. This isn't about anybody else. This is about you. Identity isn't built by affirmations alone. And I'm the one that loves affirmations. I love affirmations. I love sound healing. I love Reiki. I love all of those things, right? But I can't build my identity on the affirmations alone. It's built when your actions consistently support what you say and what you believe. So it's important that if you are saying affirmations over your life, that you start walking that way. And it doesn't happen like automatic, okay? It definitely doesn't happen automatic. Every decision becomes a vote. It's going the war between who you believe you are right now and then that true identity of who you are. It becomes a battle. So it becomes a should I, shouldn't I? Am I doing the right thing? Oh, people looking at me strange. They're not used to me behaving this way. They're not used to me acting this way. I know one of the examples that I'll use is generally I'm a very calm person, very calm, very collective, very not going to entertain anything that is negative and definitely not entertaining anything that doesn't have anything to do with me. But there have been times when I had to be like a stern or say something, but that was the old me. So when I have to come back to that space again, people are so surprised. They're like looking at me like, oh my God, I can't believe. Well, first they're thinking like, I can't believe she talked. That's the first thing they're believing. Like, I can't believe she's talking. But then the second thing, they're like, wait a minute, she's talking and she's being stern. Oh no. So it's not, it's built on that vote. Should I act out or should I not act out? Should I be consistent or should I not be consistent? And that decision is totally up to you. It's up to you. Every habit casts another vote. So when you have those bad habits and you trying to change and you trying to be better, it's another vote in your head. Is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? Eventually, and it may take some time. You don't just act differently, you become different. And that's part of finding that identity of who you are. You're not just acting different, you become different. You decide, I want to change, I want to transition, I want to be different. This is not the person who I am. I want to heal. Before, because this is only a 30-minute segment now, because we're going through these series for 20 days of identity. Before we leave today, I want to give you a little assignment. So I want you to get your notebook, write two lists, right? On these two lists, the first one is, who have I been telling myself I am? Who have you been telling yourself that you are? So that's the first side of the paper. I want you to write that list. Who have I been telling myself I am? Be honest, no filters. I'm gonna say it again. Be honest, no filters. Nobody's gonna see this. Nobody is going to see this. And I promise you, when I started to change my life, I don't know, it's probably like, I'm old now, so it's probably like 20 years ago. But every day I'm changing my life. But when I decided I was going to be a different person, look at myself in the mirror and saying like, this is ugly. Like this is like, I have to change. I have to do better. That was hard. It was hard. At times I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to be around people because once I really saw who I was like, this is ugly. And how did people put up with me that long and nobody said nothing? And probably because they love me, but at the same time, they probably told me to change. And I just decided I'm going to stay like this because this is where I'm happy at. So I want you to be honest and no filters. On your second list, I want you to write, who do I want to become? Now ask yourself one final question, right? After you ask yourself, who do I want to become? What decisions can I make today that support the identity I'm building? What decisions can you make today that support the identity you're building? Because identity isn't change in one giant movement. And I know people will say that it is. They're like, I know myself. I know exactly who I am. And then they meet somebody like me and they start questioning everything. And I want you to, because like I said, identity isn't change in one giant movement. I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly seeing things about myself that I reflect on, like, oh, yeah, I got to change that. Oh, I need to do better at this. Oh, I'm not real confident in this area. And I'll share, I don't care about self disclosing, but there was a time in my life when I was really heavy. Like I was really heavy, 300, I think it was like three something, but I was really heavy. And sometimes I still see that person. And I'm constantly telling myself, like, okay, Demasha, you're not that person anymore. That's not who you are. And sometimes I even get sad. That's not a part of my identity. That's just something that I battle with. That's not who I am because I know who I am and I see myself. But at the same time, you have to constantly tell yourself, these are the changes that I'm making. This is who I want to become. It's change one decision at a time. That's what identity is. One decision at a time. You don't have to do it all today. You don't have to do it all tomorrow, but definitely write those things down, and you don't have to share them with anybody. Nobody has to know, like you're even watching a series. But I want you to learn that identity is the foundation of everything that you do. And I'll leave you with this: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you live at the level of your identity. And I'll say that again: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you live at the level of your identity. So if you feel like, I am strong and powerful, I am successful, I'm a great worker, what do you need to change about yourself to make those things happen? If your identity says you're not worthy, you'll sabotage every opportunity that comes about. I promise you. If you feel like you're not worthy, you'll start self sabotaging. Every time something good is happening in your life, you'll be like looking for the bad stuff, looking for the bad stuff. So as soon as somebody say one thing, oh, they're the bad stuff. That's not true. It's 100% not true. If your identity says you're capable, you'll keep showing up even after the setbacks. Exactly. Self sabotaging is real. Although people think it's fake, it is real. If your identity says you're capable, you'll keep showing up, even when something happens. I promise y'all, this year has been a year from hell. It has. There's been one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. And I had to take a break. I had to take a break because I found myself self sabotaging. There's been so many things that have happened in this year that I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening next? I'm scared to answer the phone because I'm scared somebody has passed away or somebody's sick or something happened. I'm nervous. So I had to reflect. I had to just, okay, barely post. Thank goodness I have a social media manager. Thank you to her because I was making the content, but it was like I couldn't do anything. So before you chase after another goal, ask yourself, who am I becoming? So that your goals can be solid and they can be not goals that other people tell you, like the life path that someone else told you, yeah, this is your life path. This is what you should do. And in the back of your mind, you're going, I don't really want to do that. That's not what I want to do. But just because someone is telling you this is who you are, you're believing them. So who am I becoming? That's where real transformation begins. That's when the true transformation begins. Again, this is the Zipmouth Motivation Show. I am your host, Demasha K. So we are doing the Identity Series. This is episode 1. Tomorrow we will do episode 2 for 20 days. So you got 20 days to start your transition. 20 days to become the person who you want to be. If you have questions or anything, please inbox me. It's really me responding. It's really me responding back to you. So every day, tomorrow will be a little bit earlier because this was a little late. I had to be a mom. But identity is the foundation of who you are. So until next time, remember to say out loud, quiet the noise and elevate the mind. And remember, your future is built by the identity you choose today. Not not the circumstances you survived yesterday, but the identity you choose today. I love y'all.